What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about a compound, or maybe it's a drug, I don't know what you call it, that I think I read about it in Muscle Media 2000 first. Not many people knew about it. And this compound was called Pgf-2, prostate gland growth factor 2. Now, back in the day, this is going way back. I think my way back face, way back. The guy that I was getting most of my steroids from had a really good connection in Mexico at the time. Now, he has since then been busted and sent to jail. The guy that was supplying went to jail. I mean, everybody's in jail. I don't know, they might not even be alive anymore. Who knows? But the Tokyo company was prevalent. It had just come out, and they had, you know, these people were in Mexico were dealing with Tokyo, Brovel, Tornell, all the veterinarian stuff. Keyword veterinarian. The injectable D-ball called Reforvid B, all this stuff. And they had something called Ludolase. Ludolase was Pgf-2, prostate gland growth factor 2. So, it sounds kind of like IGF-1, right? Pgf-2, IGF-1. Okay, so now, you know, we're hearing a written Muscle Media 2000. It increases site enhancement. So if you had 17-inch arms, by the time you're done, you're going to have 20. Okay, so now I'm figuring all these pros that are running around at the time talking about 21-inch arms, 22-inch arms, this must be how they got them. Because synthol wasn't really around back then. And all these guys, I didn't know at the time, but they were fucking lying, claimed to have these 21-inch arms, 22-inch, 23-inch arms, and I'm like, wow, this must be how they get them. Now, the other side effect of this product was extreme fat loss. Now, I'm thinking, get ripped and get huge arms all in one thing. And it cost $35 to get this stuff. Let me shut this off over here. I got a thing that popped up. $35 for all these effects. Perfect. So we do a little bit of research, as much as we can, because nobody actually heard of this stuff in our area. And we went to a very well-known diet, slash steroid guru, who's still around today. He is no longer competing, but, you know, he's still around. He owns a website, and he was friends with a couple of our buddies, and we went to him to learn how to use this stuff. So he said, okay, you do this much of it for this many days. Now, here is what's going to happen. After you inject this stuff, within 20 minutes, you're going to feel really weird. You're going to go really warm, and then you're going to have to take a shit. I was like, what? He said, you're going to have to take a shit, and you're going to expel everything out of your bowels, and then you'll start to feel better after that, and that's when it just kicked in. Now, what confused me was I have to take a shit. Why am I going to have to take a shit? Ludolase, which is the drug Pgf-2, is to abort fetuses in cattle. It contracts smooth muscle tissue, which pushes the fetus out. Right, this is what we're playing with. We're playing with an abortion drug, an injectable abortion drug for cattle. It doesn't get much stupider than this, folks. People ask me all the time, was there anything you haven't tried? Is there anything you haven't tried? If it's fairly new, I probably haven't messed with it because it probably wasn't around then. But I did some pretty radical shit trying to get to the next level back then, which in my head was 300 pounds. If you weren't 300 pounds, you were small. Dorian was 300 pounds, NASA was 300 pounds. All the guys are creeping up there, and I figured they've got to have some kind of drug combination that's making them this big, because there's no way they can do this just on steroids. So now, IGF-1, Pgf-2. So we get this stuff. Now, the big-ass 30cc bottle, $35. That's nothing. It's going to last us a long time. So there was 3 of us that were going to use it. And one of our buddies was big into biochemistry and chemistry. So he kind of looked up some stuff and said, okay, this is the way this works. So he didn't follow the guru's advice. He decided to do more to see what would happen. So this guy, so let's say just per chance, just for a hypothetical situation, if you were supposed to inject a half a cc into each arm, you'd feel hot, you'd feel gross, you'd feel bad, you'd take a shit, and then you'd feel better. Well, this guy, instead of a half cc, did like 2 cc's in each arm. Okay? And then, wait it out and see what happens. This dude was above the sink, like this, and there was like spit, not even throwing up, like spit coming out of his mouth, because everything was contracting up, pushing down. He got really sick, shit all over the place. I mean, it did everything I said it was going to do, and he felt awful. And then we called the guru guy and said, look, this is what he did, is this okay? And he straight out said he had never heard of anybody who took anywhere close to that dosage, and he couldn't guarantee that the guy would be alright. Okay, so that's just how extreme, you know, me and my buddies were. We were stupid. And for $35, we were going to use the whole bottle. So we continued to use this stuff for, I think, maybe 4 days I used it. I didn't see any of the results. There was no, you know, increase in size of my arms. There was no decrease in body fat. Now, could it have been that I didn't use it long enough? Could have been. Is it the fact that there's no way I would have continued to use this stuff? Yes. Is it because of my health? No, it wasn't because of my health. I was so young and stupid that I was like, my health, I'm fine. I didn't even care about taking the abortion drug. I worried about the fact that, if I feel like shit, I can't train. I'm risking my health. Possibly may kill myself because nobody really knows what this stuff does in humans or if we can, if we're causing any permanent damage. But I knew that I couldn't bench the next day if I took it, so that's why I stopped taking it. And eventually, all of us stopped taking it just specifically because of the fact that everybody felt so horrible. And, it seemed like this stuff would take a while to see the results from it. So you're looking at maybe like 4 to 10 weeks of this awful feeling and shitting every time you take it, and just it wasn't worth it. And you would have to take it multiple times a day to get the effects. Fast forward, that stuff never really caught on. That, it was, I guess, pretty easy to find at the veterinarian supply stores and stuff like that. But who the hell wants to go through that? And most people, once they found out what it was to abort cattle, wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole anyways. We were just the ones that were stupid enough to do it. So realize that when I'm telling you these stories, and some people may be like, well, Jerry's got this, Jerry's done that. Yeah, I have, and some of them were very stupid things that I've done, and I'm very lucky to not be dead. And passing this information along to you, I hope that someone will stop and say to themselves, especially the one that I am concerned with nowadays is insulin. I hear so many just gym bodybuilders, not even pros or national level guys, talking about using insulin and not realizing how fast you can kill yourself with it. And the fact that you can go buy it at the pharmacy and not need a prescription makes it just that much more dangerous for someone who doesn't really know what they're doing and could hurt themselves. BioStreetTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below. www.biostreettraining.com is the blog. Be careful with what you guys are messing with. All these new peptides and SARMs and SERMs and all this stuff that's coming out. Beware.